Good evening, everyone. Mazezoke is my name, and you are welcome to Njenje Media TV for this evening conversation with you and analysis of the things that has happened in Nigeria in the last couple of days. As you all may be aware, the former president of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo, couple of days on Sunday morning, a couple of days ago, endorsed Mr. Peter Obi as his preferred candidate for the 2023 presidential election. Since he has done that, hell is let loose. From across the parties, from the APC, from the PDP, they are all going gaga. And I wonder to myself, how are they and why are they all angry? When Obasanjo in 2011, 2010, 2011, endorsed the then former Vice President Goodluck Ebere Jonathan to be his preferred candidate for the 2011 presidential election, no one cried blue murder, not blue blah or blah blue. You know what I mean? In 2015, when he endorsed the current president, no one cried. In 2019, when he said that the Buhari, in his estimation, has failed Nigerians and has failed woefully, no one cried. And again, if you go back to the reasons he gave in 2019 as to the reason why he's not supporting Buhari's re-election, you would agree with me that he was spot on. Today, the rest is history. You can now see that from all indication, he was right. In one of the things I will never, in I would, one of his quotes that I will never forget, he said in 2019 that part of the training he got from the military was never to reinforce failure, inadvertently calling Buhari a failure. As of 2020, as of 2019. So what it means, people, those of us or those of you who disagreed with him then that Buhari wasn't a failure, today you have seen where we are. Today we are seeing that one egg, a single egg, is sold for 120 to 150, 120 to 150 naira, depending on your location. One is one egg, not the one that the Agbadoites call a egg. No, an egg. Is sold for that so much in a country where egg has no coloration to dollar. Yet egg is that expensive. You begin to ask yourself, why are they suddenly all having issues with the former president endorsing a candidate of his choice? Recall that when Afani Fere, the Yoruba social cultural group, endorsed His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, it appears that that same people went to town and started doing their mago mago to a point of you hear eminent leaders and elders who had no issues before started issuing press statement against one another. You ask yourself, why must it be and why must things continue to happen in a reoccurring manner? Because this is reoccurring. There is one reoccurring decimal. Be that as it may, this evening we will look, going back to the archive, which we love doing here, to bring back informations and to bring back things that were said before, to see who is actually pulling a wool over our eyes. As usual, you may join in this conversation if you so wish. But if not, you can listen and please do me a favor, share this stream. Let others know that we are live. So let others know that we are live and let me know where you're joining me from as usual. And moving forward, people, we would endeavor to have these streams daily. 6 o'clock, no, sorry, 7 o'clock Nigerian time daily, if time permits. On that note, I would go ahead and do this. Thank you very much. Chat is now open to everyone. That is what we've been told by the Njenje media crew who are now working behind the scene, that the chat is open. So you can go ahead and make your comments. Please, please, please keep them civil. Keep your comments civil. So, people, having said that, now let's go in and have a listen to this. About 4 months ago, Tinubu went to see President Olusegun Obasanjo. The APC, the Agbado gang, they went to town saying, "Oh, Tinubu has gone to see Obasanjo. There is no issue with Tinubu. Tinubu is the appointed one," because Obasanjo, as an elder statesman, welcomed him. Have you forgotten? No. If you do forget, we do not forget. Let's play you that video. You know, I like this Yoruba talking drum. I love Yoruba talking drum. I mean, I just had it here and I started dancing already. I think my northern brothers call them Kalengu, and I think I have two, no, I have three Kalengus, one small one and two, one medium and one big one. I play them myself. Anyway, that's by the way. So you see, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu visited Baba, as he's fondly called, and they wrote and they sang his praises, that he's the master stroker, he's this, he's the other one, that Olusegun Obasanjo is the best, he's done this, he's done that. Now, that is for the APC. Now, let's go back in 2019, when Atiku was endorsed by the same Baba that they are now cussing out. Let's bring, there is one thing we do best here. We go back to the archives. You know, one of our in-house friend here, once said that never until Jesus comes, he's not going to leave the PDP. But now, I think they have served him food somewhere else, and he's speaking from both sides of the mouth. But that is also by the way. So let's bring in the endorsement here, and we can see.
VP Uche Secondus has given out his impression as to why the former president Olusegun Obasanjo endorsed Atiku Abubakar despite their differences. Obasanjo had during a meeting with Atiku endorsed Atiku's presidential ambition, declaring that he will defeat the incumbent President Muhammad Buhari of the All Progressive Congress APC in 2019. According to him, he believes that Atiku has rediscovered and repositioned himself and is now good enough to enjoy his support in the next election.
We have reviewed what went wrong, and as you have said up there, my former vice president and, as I said, president to be has shown remorse, has offered apologies, has asked for forgiveness, and I said, in the circumstances we are in, forgiveness is of God. If I, as a human being, on daily basis ask for forgiveness of God, whatever might have been done to me inadvertently or advertently, I should forgive. And in any case, I have said several times that between me and you, there's nothing personal. I believe that you and I must work together to correct them. Obviously, I have nothing but to forgive and sincerely advise you to learn from the past and do what is right, and it will be well with you. From what I personally know of you, you have capacity to perform better than the incumbent. Although some time and ground have been lost, as you rightly said, you should endeavor to start from where we stopped.
Okay. So, without wasting too much time, that was Obasanjo endorsing an article. We have seen when Tinubu went in for for him to get the blessing in 2011. Goodluck Jonathan was endorsed. In 2015, he said that he wasn't going to endorse Jonathan because Jonathan promised him that he was going to do only one term. In 2015, he endorsed Buhari. In 2019, he endorsed Atiku. You know, when you have two rotten eggs, you look at the one that probably smells less. In 2023, obviously, there are three eggs now. Two appears rotten, one is fresh. It is common sense for him to make that choice. That choice is very simple to make. Okay, so that is by the way. So when you now know that this choice is so and this choice is the way it is, you then wonder why are the APC guys and the PDP people now having this orgy of speaking in some certain manners to talk about this. Now, watch this here. I see this conversation by
National spokesman Garbashew accused Obasanjo of being jealous because Buhari.
Now, Obasanjo, or rather, Shehu Gaba. Some of you are writing in the comment section calling him Shehu Garbage. I bet. Not me. I didn't say that. He's not. His name is Gaba. Garb. What? A. So don't go and change it to Shehu Garbage as usual. His name is Shehu Gaba. He wrote and he attacked Obasanjo. And here is analysis.
Buhari is ahead of him in terms of national development. Shehu said Obasanjo does not possess the moral credibility to criticize the Buhari administration. In an open letter, Obasanjo said that Nigeria is faced with several challenges buoyed by rudderless leadership and bad economic policies. He says Peter Obi has an edge over the other candidates for the nation's top job. He said his decision came after several interactions with major contenders, but the ruling All Progressive Congress says Obasanjo's endorsement is a worthless political move with no electoral value. The African Action Congress Fagria Omoyele called Obasanjo's endorsement an endorsement of failure. Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Mr. Nyesom Wike has said Sunday's endorsement of the Labour Party presidential candidate Mr. Peter Obi by former President Olusegun Obasanjo speaks volumes about the character of his former vice and current presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar Wike called Atiku a bad product.
Wike, you know, we are talking about We are talking about serious issues here, but Wike is some of you will say comic relief. He makes sense in his own right, and he has the following to say.
I work with somebody for you work under somebody. The person has recommended Nigeria as another person. Is it me? You don't call it recommendation. I work with somebody for 8 years. And we're using it as a campaign that when we're in office we did well. Then my boss is recommending another person not to be there, something fundamentally wrong. Am I the one?
No, sir.
Am I the one?
No, sir.
So why me? Am I the boss who made recommendation to another person? Now when your boss who recommended another person other than you. And I was going and about to not she not say anything. When I saw the letter last night, I was touched. If your principal cannot recommend you.
Now, Wike is saying that he was touched. Now, my only question will be, in the touchiness of Wike, would it be that as he's being touched, that when the G5 will move and do their own endorsement, is it that he's giving us expo where their own endorsement is like
popular was the fact that he said no one should come to the presidency or to the race with the tagline Emilio-Kon or I have paid my dues, obviously referring to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the latter and Waziri Atiku Abubakar for the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the former and Atiku Abubakar for the latter. Now, he said that it is Enyilokon, means that it's the time of the young people. And then he said, which is what has ruffled the feathers of the presidency, that he's using the aphorism that it's like hell on earth for many Nigerians today, and that it was like Nigerians went from frying pan to fire under the President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure.
It's true. I just finished speaking to a clearing agent who just informed me today that car clearing, that they got a memo that the price has increased since yesterday, being Monday. Who does that? To clear a car from between 2007 until end of year 2012 has gone up from 720,000 to over 800,000 now. I think it's about 860. A car like Sienna before 2013 that normally you clear between 1.1 to 1.2 million is about 1.6. Who does it? Nigerians are complaining every day. These are cars before, when you buy them, if dollar was converting, if dollar was converting for 200 or thereabout, I mean, that $2,000 would be about 4,000, 400,000 naira. But today, even to go buy cars in America, cars you get for $2,000 now are 1.6 million. And these are old cars, 1.6 million. Then you drop another 800,000 to clear them. You haven't shipped it. So there is no way, no matter which car, even if they dash you the car in America, you won't get it, even if it's free of charge for 1,350. You won't. And we should be clapping for them. And that is what Shehu Gaba is there saying. The government of Muhammadu Buhari has been a monumental failure. If there is no two ways about it. Look at insecurity. The man Buhari cannot even go home when he retires as president. He can't go to Castina. These children would, you know what I mean? They'll go to his house and take him. Bandits in his own people, into his own state. Bandits are running amok. Come to the southwest. Go to the northeast. Go to the northwest. Is it the southeast that was peaceful before 2 years ago? until madness took over the whole place. People are now being killed at will. Yesterday, 4 people were shot in Oka, Okpuno. People just ran into a compound where people, in the East now, Christmas, people sit down to have their Christmas deliberations, and somebody just walks in there, back, and before you know it, 4 human beings, 4 human, not 4 chickens, dead. You think that is enough? To this morning, the President General of Oba community, Oba is actually, sorry, Obosi community, that's Osita Chidoka's community. And that's where we have the Menage Systems Television, Mike Ajebodem. Their community, their PG was shut down. The video is so horrible. These are not things you can show on the social media for the respect of the deceased and for the respect of the family. And Buhari wants to tell us that he has done well. These are the same people, including the lying machine, telling us that, PDP has not been able to, in 16 years, they couldn't fix the electricity. Now, 8 years, where is it? Where is electricity? We were told by Jure Ngalala, whatever he's called, that before the government leave, the Siemens will come and light up Nigeria. No. Before Jonathan left, we had over 7,000 megawatts of electricity. Today, we struggle between 2,850 to 3,900, max 4,000. People are now becoming local government of their own. Well, nothing has changed. This is a government where in the last years, NMPC has become where they sell tomato. Because, of course, people go to work, they produce not single liter of oil, yet they pay them allowances and all whatever that they get, their salaries and all emoluments. In this country, in the year 2022, we were shown pipeline leading to the sea. And we have a man called President Muhammadu Buhari who doubles as the minister of what? You know it. See, today, not one person. Are you not here when they told us, off your mic, NDDC, we will probe them. We have a forensic audit for it. Now tell me, which person has been forensically audited and jailed? Let's not begin to recount the sins of these administration that they have failed us. You hear? Second Niger Bridge. Yes, of course, it was built, but we are going to pay toll. Second Niger Bridge. Yet the roads to Second Niger Bridge are not done. Everything is politics and propaganda. Open it up. Let the people go on it. Second Niger Bridge, as I speak to, is still not completed. And I can bet you this government will not complete it before they hand over power. Because the road from the Asaba section is not done. With all the humongous amount of money spent, they're all looking for who to blame. A government where snakes, we are swallowing money. A government where termites, we are eating up money. A government where monkeys and baboons, we are taking. Nah, man. No matter how stupid it sounds, this government sounds silly and stupid. And in actual sense, actually stupid and silly. But hey, the man some of you called Shehu Garbage will not talk about that. He only that to fix on of course, Obasanjo is not a saint. Obasanjo has his own shortcomings. How would the people of Odi ever forgive him? A man who sent soldiers to go and level Odi. How would the people of Zakibiam ever forgive him? A man who did what he did in Zakibiam. Nonetheless, none of us, not myself, not Peter Obi, not any other person is a saint. If you want to look for saints, better die very young and go upstairs there and meet saints, if any. Because the thing no clear again, no be as we are told. But again,
yesterday, Dr. Bati had made a call and said that perhaps they were still enjoying the New Year festivities, hence why Malam Garba Shehu and Mr. Femi Adesina, spokespersons of the president hadn't come out to say anything. Well, they haven't disappointed you, Doctor. They've come out now to give their views, and they didn't, in a 4-point letter, just summarizing, one of the key things they said was that they felt that the president, former president, was jealous of the successes recorded by...
former president was jealous. Obasanjo inherited a broken nation. A broken nation. A nation as a staff of NTA as of 1999, right? A broken nation. I recall when we are coming back from Ireland into, then used to live in Sele area of Lagos. You come to Alaba, is it Alaba after Coca, come to Alaba there. You see the OPC and the Hausas fighting. Obasanjo, as a president, took drastic action. Yes, many will say he was too heavy on the way he clamped down, but he never minded. He never blinked, and he never supported the OPC in some of the atrocities that they were committing then. No, he never. But today, the president cannot even say that the killer headsmen, who clearly are foreigners, that they are invading his own country. No, he will say, oh, they use knife and stick and they cut forage, leaves and forage and feed them to the cows. Whereas you see people walking into farmland, taking yams out, feeding it to the cows. And you could not, your people, you failed them to the point that you couldn't do anything to ensure that these young children of these headers, that they are, do like a ranch that is integrated, that these children will stop following animal around, that they will have proper education in an area that is going to help them have a brighter future. Train this animal. I mean, all this life we've lost because of cow, what's it called? Cow stealing, cow rustling or whatever. Only for protein, only for meat. We're not talking about no yogurt, no cheese, no all the other byproduct that come from it. No, it's just only kanda and just to chop. 8 years. A headsman couldn't have done anything to help his own fellow headsmen. 8 years. Castina is worse than the way before you became president. 8 years. And here we have people trying to defend
President Muhammadu Buhari, which he himself could not boast of. They also talked about, drew attention to the fact that during his time, he wasn't transparent, corruption was recorded under him, making reference to the Alscon deal. They also said that the president had ousted democratically elected governors, citing Rashidi Ladoja of Oyo State, Peter Obi of, at the time, Anambra State, Chris Ngige, Ayofayoshe, and the likes. Now, let me just focus on the bone of contention here. The former president's assessment of President Buhari's tenure, summarizing it saying that Nigerians are suffering more now than they were before.
Of course, we are suffering more.
Let's look at the merit of his statement. And perhaps this is a good question for Nigerians to answer because you are the focus of these debates or this conversation. How have we fared under this administration? Is life better for Nigerians today? Is life easier for Nigerians today? What is the purchasing power of the average Nigerian today? I'll just take a look at the economy because oftentimes the economy is a good place to judge the tenure of the leader of a nation. Because if people are poor, if people are not able to eat, if the economy is suffering, then really and truly we can't even begin to speak about other things in the nation. So let me leave other things and just do a quick run through as to what or how we're faring economically under the current tenure. So as at today, if we look at the exchange rate, President Muhammadu Buhari inherited an exchange rate of 197 naira to the dollar.
197 naira to a dollar For ease of calculation, just say 200 naira to a dollar. Today is over. Oh, should make a God of Nazareth. Yeah. 100% of 200 naira is what? 200 naira, yes.
Today, at least as we speak, on the formal market, it is $448 naira to a dollar. On the parallel market, that's in the black market, I can't even, I mean, it's about 700 or so. So that is up there. We look at the rate of inflation, we look at our public debt. This has been a topic of conversation in the past few months and years under this administration. We are currently over $100 billion as in terms of our public debt in Nigeria. If you look at the inflation rate under this and the average
Lady, stop rolling them out. There is no way, there is nobody with any iota of gray matters in between their skulls that will come to defend this man in any way, shape, or form. But let's listen to
on national issues from his vantage position as governor of Rivers State. Yesterday, he was speaking at the flag-off ceremony of a road to be constructed in Emoha, local government area.
You know, there is one thing about Wike. Whenever he goes on these his tirades, he always does it. Not in his office. He does it when he is addressing his people, showcasing the project he has done in the last 6-7 years. Wouldn't it have been nice that Buhari is going around the country showing us those projects that he has done? So it would have been nice to see. We borrowed money, but where is the money we borrowed?
And he took time out to comment on what President Olusegun Obasanjo said about Peter Obi. And he expressed surprise that Atiku Abubakar's former boss is not endorsing him this time around. Well, he's entitled to his opinion. It's perfectly within his rights to express an opinion on national issues. But I hope he realizes that when he leaves that office in May, what the people will remember are not his quarrel with the PDP or the chairman of the PDP or with Atiku Abubakar or his private political issues. What the people will remember are his achievements.
Bagam, Ruben, the people will remember him for his achievement. A man who has been calling people, everybody to come and commission road in his own city. I wish that the one they call the last one in Abia State is doing one-tenth of what the other person is doing. After all, both of them are they receive 13% oil derivation. But we know one only built one crossover, and he called it that he built an interchange. I said, God of Nazareth. Okay, don't you know what an interchange is? He built something and he called it an interchange where everything one. Whereas if you go to Ebonyi State, they built 23. If you go to Rivers, they built 12. Now you come to your state, you built one in 8 years, and we're not going here. It's not only the federal government that is the failure. Some states in the southeast and in the south are also failures. Look at this one that is in the war-torn Borno, Professor Zulum. Look at what is. You will never believe that the things you see there are coming from a war-torn where terrorists are still killing people till today. But here, people can't even, in my own backyard, people can no longer come home. People now move with keke. You see a rich man that has Phantom, Rolls Royce. You see him in keke, you see him, you shock. You were thinking, is my mind playing me karo karo? Is it my days? I'm not saying that I have Phantom. Please, I don't even have spare tire of Phantom, please. But your mind will playing you karo karo. The person who just in this keke that just passed me now, is it Mazes or whatever? And some of them can no longer even charter the keke. They will rather go and sit at the back, allow two passengers to sit. And some of them will just do their cap like this so that you don't even know that it is them. But if you know guy man, when you look at him, you just bend your hair, looking like this. I know this man. In order just to stay alive. People think it's funny. It's not, because life is now become worthless under this government. And we cannot wait 29th May for this government to just pack and go.
In River State. So it's good that while fighting politics at the national level and the local level, is focusing also on leaving a legacy behind in River State. He also must realize that by June, no newspaper will report him again, except he goes, on the streets of Abuja and he goes to dance at the square. Otherwise, he will have expired.
Ruben, the way you expired. I cannot forget the article you wrote after Goodluck Jonathan. You said that the phone no longer rings. The phone. That means after that, there is no more power. Power is indeed transient. So those who think by talking nonsense now that they are in power, wait, there will be a time where there will be no power. That is the only thing that you can do for yourself is to fix what you can't fix when you have power. But I don't know why.
In terms of news value, and the media will move on. Therefore, now it provides very good material, and while it lasts, that is fine. As for his quarrel with Atiku Abubakar, well, it's in the nature of politics for people to disagree. Maybe they will disagree, they will agree later. That remains to be seen. But to come to the response from the federal government to President Olusegun Obasanjo.
I think from this moment, I tend to probably agree with Abati more here, because I think the response from the federal government is, for me, at best, childish and stupid.
Assessment of the Buhari administration. Well, President Obasanjo says Buhari has taken Nigeria from the mountaintop to the valley, that he has taken Nigeria from frying pan to fire.
That is
In
what
other
it
words,
is.
he's not, impressed by President Buhari's performance. The same President Buhari that he endorsed in 2015 when he condemned the Jonathan administration.
Exactly. For him to have, in 2015, endorsed President Muhammad Buhari, I mean, I don't blame him, I don't begrudge him, because Jonathan, as of 2014, 2013, many of us, especially but we know better now, 2012, when APC led that protest, the Ojota, and I think January 2012 was the end of Jonathan's tenure. He messed up. If you read Okonjo-Iweala's book, Okonjo-Iweala was also surprised that Jonathan, having agreed with Nigerians when they had that first subsidy summit in Lagos that was transmitted, and Nigerians all watched. Everyone had agreed that by April, first April, subsidy will be removed. When Pastor Tunde Bakari became an expert, SMS, subsidy made simple. Everybody became an expert in subsidy and what we can use, the money we overpay. And there was a time, the same man who was saying that if we are drinking fuel, was there any crime being committed? Then, of course, massive fraud was done under Jonathan subsidy. Is there some fraud ongoing under Buhari's? Now, the fraud has grown leg, arm, and even pot belly under Buhari. And the corruption fighting man cannot see anything. That is where we are today. So a man who supported Jonathan in 2011, when Jonathan did not live up to expectation, he moved. He earns my respect, because he cannot say, oh, he wasn't that stupid, he wasn't that myopic to say, oh, okay, Jonathan, because he's from the South must continue. He didn't look at where he came from. Even for him not to support Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if It would have been probably very difficult for Obasanjo if Osibanjo was in this position that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is today, because he cannot talk about competence. He cannot talk about, there are qualities. All the qualities as they are mentioned in there are the qualities you can eat also that is also in Osibanjo. He cannot talk about a Milokon, a me, whatever, the younger ones, without also not talking about those things or those qualities in Osibanjo. But here, APCs should shot themselves in the foot. And today, they will keep changing the diapers. Actually, that's
now 8 years down the line, the same President Obasanjo says Buhari is not good enough, and he thinks someone else has an edge, for the future. Well, I'm sure that a man who has acquired a reputation as a letter man would not expect, under any circumstance, that if he writes a letter to Nigerians, he will not get responses. You can see the statement that he put out there about the 2023 presidential election has generated quite a number of reactions, including Professor Bolaji Akintoye saying that, in fact, Obasanjo is part of the foundation of the problems of Nigeria. That was one reaction. You've seen Wike in Rivers reacting. The PDP has reacted. The APC has also reacted. But the missing link in what I would say is not the surprising response from Garuba Shehu and the presidency is that, look, I expected that Garuba Shehu will have used the opportunity of that rejoinder to President Olusegun Obasanjo to debunk the allegation that Buhari has taken Nigerians from frying pan to fire.
Look, Ruben, I believe you're being tricky here. He cannot debunk it. The thing with statistics, they don't lie. How is he going to? Let's take for example, in the year 2008, when I flew into America, you had pounds. £1 was automatically $2. In the year when Buhari took over, in the year 2015, if you fly into America with £1, £1 will get you $1.30, 35 at that time. Today, £1 will get you about, I think, is it $1.17 or thereabout? You can see that it's gone slightly down over time, but it didn't plunge. When Liz Truss was elected as the PM, you guys saw how immediately when with that Ghanaian exchequer guy, Kweku or whatever, that they brought in a policy, and you can see how the economy shook. Were that to be in Nigeria, they will tell us 1 million reasons why Buhari remains the best. But what did the English people do? They kicked her backside. Within a couple of days, she was no longer MP. Sorry, she was no longer PM. She left. But in Nigeria, people will write lengthy. Now, look at this guy, the presidency defending. The presidency is now telling you, there is this, there is not the way it is. Come, blow all the grammar that you want. What a Nigerian wants to know, in 2015, we were buying rice for 18,000. In 2022/2023, we are buying it for 48,000. Why? Blow all the grammars. A car they used to buy, even locally. I remember. We bought in when Buhari took at February 2015, Hyundai Elantra. I think is this Hyundai. Is it Elantra or no Hyundai Sonata? 3.8 million, brand new, tear over 0 kilometer in Nigeria. Now, 7 years later, recall that time, the innocent equivalent was much lower. Today, the lowest, even innocent Ikenga, the 7-seater entry model of that car is about 16.8 million. I mean, come on. How does that happen? You can't even afford Tokumbo car. You can't even afford brand new one. Who has 16.8 million to just buy the basic car? That equivalent of it before now, you could get a Tokumbo of it for about 3.2, 3.5 million. And this man the presidency wants to come and defend whatever.
And all he needed to do, as the administration continues to wind down, having just 22 weeks, or maybe he will do a follow-up piece on this, or maybe Federal Additional will do it, is to just outline for public consumption how the Buhari administration has moved the country forward. And I'm sure they have material, in-house that they can put together and say, well,
Ruben, you're talking because you had gray matters in between your score. How can you put materials together where none exist? How?
You are wrong. These are the alternative facts. Buhari has done this in terms of legal reform. Buhari has made progress with Second Niger Bridge. Buhari has built this infrastructure. Buhari, and then maybe you compare it with what you imagine or assume that Obasanjo did in his own time.
Though it must be said that Obasanjo did Ndibo 419 with Second Niger Bridge. I mean, I talk him as it where it is. He did the Southeast 419 with Second Niger Bridge. At least on my platform, I asked Ike Kweremadu, who is now in London, is it true that Obasanjo did this? Because I had it with left ear. And under this platform, you can go and the video is still here. Ike Kweremadu confirmed it. That he told them that, yeah, he promised them that because of politics. But the rest is history.
Okay. Down the line, we'll still be on that subject.
Go to dmo.gov.ng. Mountain debt.
Let me bring in Rufai.
So let's look up.
Rufai, sorry.
President Buhari has an opportunity in February, March to prove that indeed he has earned that commendation from President Joe Biden by giving Nigerians a smooth, credible, fair electoral process in February and March and ensure a smooth transition. As to the assessment of his administration, I'm sure next year, the year after, 5 years down the line, we'll still be on that subject, no doubt.
Yes, Dr. Abati, legacy is what you make it. I think it's also Ralph Waldo Emerson that said, what you do speaks so loud I can't hear what you say. So let's look at what the Buhari administration has done.
You see, that's why I like Rufai. Now let's go into the archives and look at what the Buhari administration has done. Because now in this case, they are trying to, the presidency. No wonder the grass cutter of invasive species, that is the Babashi Alawa, actually once asked a rhetorical question. Who is speaking, the president or the presidency? They say, who is the presidency? I can't forget. I can't.
We've not seen it. Yeah, they say they did infrastructure. But should we start shooting at the infrastructure?
Okay, let's go and let's get our bows and arrows and shoot at the infrastructures. Go.
The airport terminal, $100 million of our money used to build. Structural defect can be used over 6 months now.
I hope you know the airport in question.
Do you know that's our hard-earned money that we have to pay back in debt?
Not that we're going to pay back in debt, Rufai, point of correction. We're already paying back. And I don't know. What they are now talking about is that our loans has to be restructured. We can't restructure Nigeria, but we have to restructure our loans because we are failing.
Go to dmo.gov.ng. Mountain debts. Ways and means. We don't even know what they did with ways and means.
In Abuja, we once woke up one day and we saw them building pyramids of rice. And you think maybe those governing us can sometimes reason from their backside. Because if you want your people to believe that you have produced rice and you have crashed the price, that will be a reflection in the market, not by the
That's the funny part. And now, this same government that tries to securitize ways and means by breaking its own CBN Act, 22 trillion, we can't account for the money. No, the second called borrowers. What did we do?
22 trillion. Are you aware that Buhari passed that the National Assembly, the rubber stampers, they have rubber stamped the final one that probably they are going to. Okay, don't quote me on. They're going to use in working for Nigeria. You know what I mean? They are going to use it and roll for Nigeria. They're going to work excellently. This is the only one that will not be padded. No, why would they pad it? They're all God fearing. In fact, they're all waiting in the gate of heaven. They will be they are all angels. They're going to use the whole budget that is signed today to work for Nigeria.
We shut borders, led to inflation.
No, we have forgotten.
And please, they should stop making this argument that, oh, it was because of COVID inflation. Nigeria was growing less than 3% before COVID. Let's stop lying to ourselves. Because we've blamed COVID now, we've blamed Ukrainian war. Saudi Arabia is producing oil just like us. Saudi Arabia inflation rate is about 2.29%. So who are we deceiving?
Ourselves.
This same Obasanjo they're abusing, that is jealous of Buhari. The only time Nigeria has grown double digits was in 2002 when Nigeria grew 15%.
Obasanjo is jealous of Buhari. Don't worry, don't blame us. We keep reinforcing failure.
Should we check the economic growth of President Buhari? Minus 1.8, minus this, recession, 2 recessions. Should we go on? Forex rate bastardized. And people keep saying, yeah, he did infrastructure. Kaduna rail line, you remember what happened? Amici came out and they were supposed to put in the security surveillance infrastructure there.
No, because it's over 3 billion. Well, how would they? And boom, kaboom. Even when terrorists wrote you a letter, told you that they would do that, and you still allow them to.
Till date, it's not been done. Yes, he's done some other infrastructure. I give him kudos for that.
Yes, of course. I give him kudos for the second Niger bridge. After all, Jonathan lied to us. He commissioned paper, and in the name of building second Niger bridge. But at least Buhari, Obasanjo himself lied for 8 years. He couldn't do it. But here, you see, well, in the land of the blind, one-eyed man becomes the king. So begrudge him not. Enugu, Onitsha Expressway. Yes, of course, we saw some of the things done. Not perfect, but at least better than the PDP days. Enugu Port Harcourt. Yes, Namide Tokan. The ones he did well, but go to Onitsha Owerri. Now go to Newman. Go to Newman Wukari Road. The worst. The worst in the Northeast. At the end of the day, Buhari won't go home. He's probably going to stay in Kaduna. Quote me, he won't bet, he bet. Because if he goes home to Castina, these children, oh, dear God.
But let's stop talking as if the president used his own pocket money to do infrastructure.
Now
it's our Commonwealth that was used to build second Niger bridge.
Our money.
It's same Niger.
Not only that it is our money, we are going to pay toll. So no one is doing us a favor. We are going to. So it's not like, oh, it's like Ebutemeta Bridge. You just drive. No. It is our money. We are going to still pay tolls on them. So let no one preach sanctimoniously to us. Okay. So. Come on.
Nigeria's money. The very first time Nigeria is ought to be making so much from crude oil. This is the only time wars have not favored Nigeria. Yom Kippur in 73, go and check the records. Crude oil price rose from $3 per barrel to $12 per barrel. Favored Nigeria. The country was so bleeding rich that Yakubu Gowon came out to say the problem is not money but how to spend it. Most of the infrastructure you see in Lagos was built by Gowon then. You remember the cement armada? We had so much cement, built lots of bridges and everything. Third Mainland Bridge started then. But now, because of crude oil theft, we can't even take stock of what we have.
Now, who is the minister of that oil sector? A minister under your watch. You are fighting corruption and they are showing you people stealing our oil, raping the nation without any form of protection. You know, talk, oracle. The one you call the lying machine, suddenly, nothing. You know, listen, I can't wait for this government. I beg. You didn't do too much, I beg.
So when you look at it, I ask you, Nigerians, is your life better than it was 8 years ago?
Oh, guy, you know the answer now. How can it be? That's what I've been saying here for the last couple of minutes. You know better at all. No way, no be light you get, no be security. Now people can't even go home anymore. Those of you in the diaspora, you are stuck. You can no longer go. If they say, something they pursue you now, you could say, oh God, I beg. I know fit go home. I beg, make I stay here. Oh God, I beg. If I go home now, they go catch me. That's what you could talk.
Your answer is obvious. So if the presidency comes out to say that what Olusegun Obasanjo did right is not correct, I think the presidency should introspect. And maybe they should take out a survey and feel how Nigerians are feeling. Because I'm not sure, for them to say that, I'm not sure they feel the pulse of Nigerians. In case you didn't get the memo, Nigerians are suffering. And let me tell you, the greatest endorsement any man can get is from his wife that has married him for so many years. President Buhari's wife came out on I think it was reported around October, I think the BBC had an interview where she apologized for the failures of the administration. This was the same President Buhari's wife that imprisoned a young boy. You know, we can go on. And for Mr. Wike, he's just playing politics. It tilts in his favor today. His adversary here, Atiku Abubakar, is having a bad time because he was not endorsed by President Olusegun Obasanjo, his former boss. And guess what happens? He lashes on that politically. But time will tell. But most importantly, Nigerians, what we're concerned about should be the issues that affect you. Paying heavy subsidies that were campaigned that they will be removed. We first called it under recovery. Now that...
Anyway, we are paying subsidy. You remember when they told us subsidy? Who is paying subsidy is our money. Who is paying who? Who is paying who? Now there is nobody paying who. But again, if you go to the war, what I refer to as the war of spokespersons, my good friend, or two of my friends, basically, Daniel Boala and Kenneth Okonkwo were on Channels TV, and they were asked what they think about Obasanjo's endorsement. Oh, there, I laughed my head off. Because Boala, who defected from the APC and joined the FDF, now he's APDC, whatever that means. So, he in his usual, give them, that's why they are lawyers. In his usual grammatical gymnastic, he has the following to say. My good brother.
Every time he goes wrong, I'm guaranteeing you people, the Nigerian people, I am going to control him this way or control him that. But let us go to the fact and issue. Obasanjo, to the greatest respect, lacked the moral turpitude to become the father of the nation. There are about 5 presidents, former presidents alive today. None among them interferes with the country and with every president like a meddlesome interloper like President Obasanjo.
Well, not everybody will do, but it might also interest you that in America, since Barack Obama has left office, some will consider him that he has been meddling in the politics of the American presidency. He has been endorsing, and he endorsed publicly. So have you forgotten that? Why is it that other ex-presidents like George Bush and co, that they are not endorsing? But again, everybody must not be the same. There are people like Gowon, who is keeping quiet, 1, because of health with IBB, 2, because he feels that he's still praying. That's why he calls for prayers all the time. He's still praying for God to forgive him for all the atrocities committed.
Yet, if you look at the
Capiche?
letter from the beginning to the last, it is all about me, my, and I. Me, my, and I. He rated his own administration from 1999 to 2007 as impeccable. But
well, in some senses, in fact, it will be an insult to actually compare his administration to this current administration. This current administration is nothing but catastrophe. Under Olusegun Obasanjo, you wouldn't have stolen Nigerian oil in that way, and he will keep quiet. They never born you. Yes, of course, it wasn't a cent, but you wouldn't. Did he, like I said before, in terms of human rights abuse, the things that were done, of course, he's a military man. Does that take away those atrocities that he's committed? No. But there are things that he will never accept.
He could not find any element of praise to give to any administration after him. And in fact, he did not even praise any administration before him. In other words, Obasanjo believes that he has the celestial powers to predict the future of Nigeria and the leadership of Nigeria. Unfortunately for him, that attitude is antithetical to democratic ideals and governance. The democracy that was handed to us by the First World is a democracy of popular participation by the people. In other words, it's a democracy where the people choose on the basis of their choices and not one man using a letter to threaten and intimidate the entire nation that if a certain direction is not taken, then doom lie ahead.
Oh, there. Voila. You know, and you and I know that it is not true that he threatened the whole nation. He's stating the obvious. One of the top former security guys, I was speaking to him 3 weeks ago at his residence in Abuja. And he said the same thing, that he is afraid. And I said, Elder, why are you afraid? He said, I am afraid of 2023. And he's repeated the same thing. Is he threatening anybody? Is it because this guy is the one that made his voice heard? Point is, if you guys think that the election will be rigged and it will be like before, you have something coming for you. It's as simple as that. The only thing that can keep people is when election is seen to be transparent and when that election is actually transparent, without bullion van and bullion bicycles, making their ways in the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. I mean,
but
that's not.
Let us look at the character of that person, because it is not just about the message; it's about the messenger. If the messenger does not have a profile, his message cannot be conveyed by your television house. And so let's look at it. Obasanjo thinks that democracy is as defined by him. He has virtually destroyed every concept of democracy in his entirety. To begin with, when we talk about whether he has weight or whether he has a voter's value, when he was brought up in 1998, as soon as he got out of the prison, according to the former governor from the southeast, he said Obasanjo did not even have 200,000 to buy the form. He bought for him. Obasanjo today has Otafan, has presidential library, and Otafan supplies product not only to Nigeria but to the rest of Africa. That's point number one. Point number two.
And we have an ex-president that has 150 cows. And the cows, no they increase, no they decrease. Blah said that they wear protection. They increase, they decrease. I'm not supporting looting our treasury. But if somebody is not stealing, but when he passes, something misses. Somebody is in charge of something. He's not stealing, but people are stealing. And he looks the other way, and he's still innocent. I'm not accusing anybody, but I'm just saying.
People came together and donated their resources and their infrastructure and structure to make him a president. Even in 2003, when just his vice presidential candidate threatened to quit, he was rejected until people came together and the vice president again committed the loyalty to him, and then they went on. He did not win his polling unit in 1999. In 2003, they practically rigged his polling unit. So if you look at it on the evidence of value, Obasanjo does not have the moral ground to begin to call the presidential aspirant or candidate of a political party as people that he could direct. And again, let me say this, and it's very important. Obasanjo is the only president incomparable with even Asiwaju and Peter Obi and Atiku. All of them, I will make the case that they have a better quality than Obasanjo. Let me give you an example. Obasanjo ordered the killing in Oji. Obasanjo ceded Nigerian vacancy to the foreign country because of allegedly his ambition to become the United States Secretary General.
United States Secretary General? No. United States Secretary General? Brother, now you they talk like this. I need to come to that hotel in London and check if there is one bottle of Akpatashi beside you. How can you be talking like this?
Obasanjo, under a democratic governance, ordered the shoot aside of OPC people. Obasanjo's treatment of Asari Dokubo under a democratic governance can better be described as a military dictator. Obasanjo has instituted the foundation of what they call Ghana-Moscow politics in the National Assembly. It has been reported. Obasanjo used 3 people to impeach a sitting governor in Jos and started dealing with him. Obasanjo picked some lawmakers in Bayelsa, brought them to a hotel in Abuja and impeached a sitting president. Obasanjo had international media houses speaking to him. They asked him questions he was not comfortable about. He was threatening to send them out of Nigeria. Obasanjo appeared before Stephen of Heart of BBC when he was questioned about corruption in his family, and Obasanjo threatened that if it was not out of courtesy, he would take up the matter against that person. This is the picture of the person that now has served as the alpha and omega of democratic identity.
You know, while I am not an Obasanjo defender, but again, you know, sorry, voila, brother, calm down. You're standing on a breakable table and you have hammer in your hand because the person you are defending, his glass table, is even bigger than what you're talking about. But let me allow someone else to respond to you.
For him. And thirdly,
let me allow, take pure water.
Has never kept silent.
Sorry, let me
with a clean track record of achievement both in public and private life. That statement has now been criticized as such that Obasanjo is perhaps seeing Peter Obi as a puppet that he can play around with as soon as he gets into office.
Well, first and foremost, there is the saying that the greatest place in hell will be reserved for those who keep silent in times of moral crisis. Nigeria is going bad, not because of the violence of the bad people, but because of the silence of the good ones. Obasanjo has refused to keep silent in times of moral crisis. We are in a crisis in this country. Obasanjo wants to escape going to hell by being an accomplice to corrupt leaders. Because any nation that votes corrupt politicians are no longer victims, but accomplices. Now, Obasanjo has never kept silent in times of moral crisis. He went to jail because of it, and he came out, became a president.
Oh, I love this philosophical questioning of morality. What is morality? On the other side, one is telling you about how the moral high horses, and here, a defender of morality. I mean, come on.
Like you rightly pointed out, 11 years, this man governed Nigeria cumulatively as a military president and as a civilian president. No Nigerian has had that privilege. And fortunately for him, and unfortunately for them, no Nigeria may be privileged to have it again.
President Buhari, if he ends his term,
no, stop now. 9 and 7, 9
and between the rank of the likes of Olusegun Obasanjo.
9 years plus.
But we're talking about those who have been head of state, military, and civilian.
Obasanjo has 11 years. Why I brought this issue is that Obasanjo knows everything that is required to sit on that seat. Let us come to his letter. In law, the reasons for a judgment is more important than the judgment itself. That's why when a court gives judgment, we the lawyers say, no, we want to hear their reasons. Let us hear the reasons Obasanjo enumerated in his letters. He said, whoever wants to be the president must meet up with 4 factors, which he summarized in the acronym TVCP. Track record of ability and performance. You must check the antecedents. You must check the past. Then talk about vision that is authentic, honest, and realistic. You must check the future. Then you talked about character and attributes of a child of God and obedience to God. That's talking about integrity. Who are you when nobody is looking at you? Then he talked about physical and mental abilities with soundness of mind. I can't put it in a better form. He's talking about the qualities that we need in the next leader. When I heard these gentlemen talk, I was really asking myself, is Obasanjo in the ticket in 2023? Because they were just talking about Obasanjo this, Obasanjo that. And we are talking about recruiting the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I will tell you what Obasanjo saw in P2B, and then you will do the matchmaking, and the Nigerians will do the judgment. Obasanjo saw in a man who has the capability to secure and unite this country. He did it in Anambra State. He secured Anambra State from being the worst secured state to the best by the confirmation of the IG of police then, Muhammad. He saw in P2B a man that will unite through not leaving anybody behind. No ethnic, no religious, no section will be left behind in P2B's judgment, in P2B's government. Obasanjo looked at P2B and saw a man that will shift emphasis from consumption to production, through running a production-centered economy driven by agrarian revolution and export-oriented industrialization. Obasanjo saw in a man who would build world-class and expansive physical infrastructure, not through borrowing.
Oh, my brother Boala, I beg. He's listening to rap music because Kenneth is rapping to
but
him.
Through integrated public-private partnership and entrepreneurial public sector governance. He saw in P2B a man who will leapfrog this country into the 4th industrial revolution through scientific and technological innovations to create digital economy. Obasanjo saw all these things and sat down and wrote a letter and said, if we want a Nigeria that should be redirected from poverty to prosperity, the only man that can do it is P2B. One of the reasons Obasanjo considered by endorsing P2B is because he knows that he is a man that will embark on effective legal and institutional reforms to aggressively fight corruption, entrench rule of law, reduce cost of governance, plug wastages, and ensure the establishment of honest and efficient civil service. Obasanjo knows that no man with such quality like this can be a puppet. Obasanjo does not even want a puppet to govern Nigeria.
But he has said it here.
Yes,
that meaning people can pull his ear.
Exactly.
That is a needle with thread attached. So it means that there are people who can actually caution P2B. Do you want a president that someone from somewhere can control by pulling the thread on their needle, or someone that you can pull the ears of a president? Is that the CEO that you want to employ?
I was coming to that. Because what Obasanjo meant was simply that democracy is our lekon. Then, not a lekon. It's a collective thing. Obasanjo knows that no man can know it all. And all the people that claim that know it all have brought indescribable destruction to this country. You and I You are aware of the Emilokons. When you talk about the Emilokon, you don't, it's not an exclusive copyright of Tinubu. Atiku and Tinubu, they are the Emilokons. Did you not hear that Northerners should vote only the North, not Yoruba, not Igbo candidate by Atiku? What is that? That's Emilokon. Have you not heard that I single-handedly made Buhari president? A man who boasted in Ogun, a Tinubu, that he can single-handedly make Buhari president, can no longer single-handedly make himself president. I don't know why he's campaigning. That is what Obasanjo is telling you, that P2B is not an Emilokon. P2B is an Awalekon, a man who is not going to act alone, who will listen. I am not going to follow a commander-in-chief that doesn't listen, because no man knows it all. If you're a medical doctor, you're not a lawyer. If you're a lawyer, you're not an engineer. P2B has said it clearly that the Nigerian people are going to be the president through him. And that he, when he was in the labor retreat, he called the labor people. He said, bring your demands, write it down. We will sit together. We will look at it together. We will sign when we have agreed on what we will achieve. And don't leave after the election. Come and continue monitoring it to see whether I am achieving it.
Just what Obasanjo meant.
I'm not talking about. Let me just make 1 point more. P2B was a governor under Apga. Apga had only one seat. No godfather up, no godfather down. Was he a pet to anybody? And you are talking about when he is the president. No, he listens.
All right. Let me allow Mr. Akinci to defend.
Now, I think the thing has moved on from rap music to Afrobeat. Now, let's see the argument of the APC guy afterwards.
Definitely, for all those who understand the politics of Nigeria, a lot of people will understand what former President Obasanjo is talking about here when he made reference to Emilokon. And I try to read this quickly for you to be able to respond to. He says, and I quote, "Let me say straight away that Emilokon, my turn, interpretation, and I have paid my dues are one and the same thing, and a wrong attitude and mentality for the leadership of Nigeria now. They cannot from the new pedestal to reinvent and to invest in a new Nigeria based on all Nigeria government for the liberation and restoration of Nigeria. Such a government must have representation from all sectors of our national life, public, private, civil society, professional, labor, employers, and the diaspora." How do you defend your principle that have been criticized in Obasanjo's letter as making reference to himself as somewhat an entitlement, in fact, in getting into the presidential chair?
No politician, as a matter of fact, since 1999, has shown liberalism, has shown freedom of choice within its political enclave, as Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But before I get to that, I quickly want...
I think you're talking to people from Niger, right? Ambode would have a different opinion. A sitting governor, you talk about liberalism, and the one sentence, and you mention Tinubu or Ghana.
To correct an impression by a lawyer of Ponko about his principal. Please let him quickly go and check the poverty level of Anambra State in 2010. More than 53% of Anambra people were poor, were classified as living in extreme poverty. In 2010, Mr. Peter Obi was unfortunately the governor of that state at that time. That's just by the way.
Now, you see, that is where you miss it, sir. In 2013, stroke 14, when he now left, okay? That is then the job I have for everyone watching now. You tell us what it was.
Now, talking about Emilokon and Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, if you recall,
in 2007, when the presidential candidate of the PDP was involved in a spat, and of course he was more or less kicked out of the PDP in 2007, he found home in a party mainly influenced by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the ACN, and he was made the candidate, you know. A normal Nigerian politician wouldn't have allowed that. That was also an opportunity for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to announce his intention for the presidency in that year.
That mislead Nigerians. He just finished being a governor. He wasn't ready at that point. Don't mislead Nigerians. There was no way, he's not stupid. And Obasanjo would have finished 8 years. The North hasn't taken over for their 8 years. And in 2007, you'll be talking, come on now, you think Nigerians are daft. Obasanjo from Southwest, 8 years. In 2007, you'll be talking about Asiwaju another 8 years. You know, sometimes, I don't know how some of you talk. You talk as if you're talking to, you know, as Nigerians, as if we are all...
But he did not. He allowed...
He can... Jesus, stop using those words. He allowed what? He couldn't do it. Forget what Atiku is doing now. The South are not entirely stupid. Okay? So we are not anyone who is supporting that after a certain region finish. It's just like if Peter Obi wins this election and governs 4 years, another 4 years, by the year 2031, and someone will come and say, oh, someone from the southeast or south who could become president, you will just ask them if now only then Waka come. Where are the people of northeast? Where are the people of north central? You can actually make an argument that the people of northwest haven't governed under Goodluck, under Yar'Adua and Buhari, that they should take a break. People of northeast and people of the north central are also humans. But here you are talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Oh, he could have run. Okay, let him run now. Is he not the same man who said that the reason why he ceded the ticket to Professor Yemi Osibanjo was, that is the VP ticket to Professor Osibanjo in 2015, was because of Muslim ticket? Where has his senses gone to? Why is he now contesting the same Muslim ticket?
Waziri Atiku, you know, to pick the ticket of the ACN. In 2011, the same thing. He allowed Mr. Ribadu.
Common sense, he allowed Ribadu. Why did he, after allowing Ribadu, why did he not support the same Ribadu? He struck a deal with Goodluck Jonathan because he's not stupid. He knew 8 years has to go by before anything. He knew.
To pick the ticket of the party that he had a major influence in. So it is not about him, and he has shown it.
It has always been about him. That's why he says Emiloko, because it's my turn.
This has been a candidate, you know, a person that since 2007 that he had left office had not occupied any other office, despite the obvious influence, you know, that he wields across the country.
Obvious influence, yes, Lagos State Treasury. Obvious influence. A man who has left office in so many years, but Bullion Vans delivered something in... Stop. A man who has left office since 2007, but Bullion Van delivers water to his compound on election evening. Yes, that's water, pure water for people to drink. I understand.
Especially even in Lagos State. If you had wanted to be a senator, if you had wanted to be anything,
yeah, if you had wanted to be a senator, your daughter a Malaja, your wife a senator, and you a senator. Do you sometimes listen to yourself, people? Must you come on national TV to disgrace yourself?
Would have secured it, but because he has this altruism.
Maybe Lagos State is being populated by animals, that he will come and become the senator, the wife, the senator, and how do you people think?
And of course, he has this capacity to look at the bigger picture. You know, it's so coming into 2023. Yes, if he says in a family meeting, and let us correct that, where he made that declaration was a family meeting.
It was a family meeting that he can use his two hands and those, you know, pull his abada. And he posed this one. Emilokon, it is my turn. So it was the family meeting that now decides whose turn is it for Nigeria.
It was not a public space.
Oh, family meeting, and he brought on cameras and he was talking to Nigerians and he was mentioning Buhari. Family meeting, eh?
He did not write a letter. He did not announce it.
He didn't write a letter, can he? If your hand, they shake something, they shake. How can he write?
He did not call a press conference.
Oh, sorry. He didn't call a press conference, but TVC was there and they were streaming it live. What was that called again? Oh, in-house conference.
He was meeting with colleagues.
He was meeting with colleagues. I forgot. Oh, yeah, the governor is also a colleague. Oh, yes, that's true.
Meeting with colleagues, members of his close political family, and he was making a need for an argument.
He's not been denied, but your principal has not denied. He's owned up to it, isn't it?
No, I am not talking about him. I said that statement was made within a family circle.
In fact, you know my proposition. Having listened to you, I'm proposing that you take over from the lying machine because you are even with a straight face. That's what you're doing. So you can do better than the lying machine.
He never claimed it as a public announcement. It was not a public acclamation by him. It was engaging his political family.
Like a reference made to law.
I don't think that is out of place.
Fairly incriminating.
And I don't also think it should be a reason, for
the commission of a crime. So, I mean, if he says it and he has not denied it,
please can you come again? I can't hear you clearly.
Resonated, isn't it?
They are comedy.
I mean, is that this time that you're saying that it's not relevant any longer?
Please come again. I can't hear the earlier part of the question.
All right, so let's move on if you can hear.
I'm not the one.
Leave week.
The question you will ask him is what happened? What has changed from 2019 to now? It is just the idea that he has found a pin and a thread that he can use as a puppet master and control and govern.
Boala, let's leave all that things off the table. Very simple thing. You guys know it, and I know it. 2023, you guys are afraid. 2023, the young ones that you kept at home for 9 months, they have gone to the quarries. They are sharpening their stones in form of their PVCs. They will flog all of now. The young ones that you allowed bandits to overtake their lands, abuse them, abuse their parents. They are waiting for you. Those that you have really pushed to go into bed on empty stomach, they are very happy with you and they will pay you accordingly. Let's not think that these children, that these people, that they can do nothing. Of course, there is a lot of things that they can do. People, it's been nice having you this evening. And like I said at the beginning, we will then now henceforth endeavor to do our daily analysis from 7 p.m. Nigerian time. And I hope you will join me next time. Until then, I am still Mazezoka, and thank you for being part of this. Join me tomorrow, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
La 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 la.